Robert Downey Jr. says declaring influencers the stars of the future is absolute horseshit. Okay.
Horseshit. I wasn't sure if you were memeing.
Nerderotic.com.
You know what? If you can find, Garrett, just the beginning. I shared it with you, Jeremy. The beginning of Matt Walsh's video about it can lead
rock
into
music,
this,
right?
About rock music dying, which I don't necessarily disagree with the assessment of the video that he breaks down afterwards, but just that first part, I found it interesting. I don't know if you saw it, Jeremy.
I saw it. I didn't see it when you sent it to me, but I saw it going around on Twitter. So
just wanted to play the first part of the video, and it definitely go check out the video when you get a chance. It's fine. Just like he said something pretty interesting in the beginning, which I have a theory on. But as far as Harry Potter is concerned, that is going to be unfucking believable online. The bullshit around it for a lot of reasons, and I said it before it came out, and it was made so much worse with the casting of Black Snape. But that's going to be a cultural punching bag, and it's gonna blow up because you know what? Pop culture matters, guys. Culture matters.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard Culture War was dead. I heard the Culture War was dead.
Yeah,
that's what I was told.
As you may have noticed recently on the show, we've started to focus more on cultural commentary, a little less on politics. And the reason for that is partly,
views.
If I'm being totally transparent, I find the entire political podcasting space to be increasingly boring and redundant.
I mean, I agree.
Everyone's saying the same things. Everyone is talking about the same
politics
stories.
is a wild place right now. Luckily, I don't talk about it. So
you're staying out of it pretty much.
I stay out of it. It's too toxic for me. I just can't deal with it, man. I stick to nerd stuff.
Conservative podcasters all repeat essentially the same basic talking points unless they're fighting with each other, which is even more boring and at this point even more redundant. So I find it all incredibly uninspiring and uninteresting, which is enough reason to try to find different things to talk about. Also, culture matters. And that's why...
no shit.
Wow. The quartering told me it doesn't. So I'm going to stick with that. Orange videos do matter, though.
That's
Culture
good
war, nah, you don't need any of that.
Yeah,
How many
Jack,
decades ago it was Andrew Breitbart who said that politics is downstream from culture, and I think he said that back in the 1990s. So it's been a thing for a little while. Better late than never, but could have been quicker.
Sure.
In my opinion, Matt has talked about stuff like this actually a lot. The thing is, we tend to only remember the times where he basically says, if you play video games, you're wasting your fucking life, or anime is demonic, which are obviously, anime, I don't fucking like anime. I don't think it's demonic, however. And I think that if all you do is anything, whether that's play games, whether that's golf, whether that's fucking sit there and stare at the wall, it's probably not going to
talk about politics. Yeah.
There's been a couple out of touch things like that. Overall, I feel like he has talked a lot about how culture does matter throughout his.
Yeah, he's done a couple of really good videos on it, actually. And he was a rock DJ, so he knows his music, right? And it's actually a good video. I recommend it. It's based off a Rick Beato video who's talking about the same thing. Rick Beato's been on top of this stuff. Great channel, by the way. Pretty much ripping everybody on Spotify.
Beato.
Beato, sorry. I
want to give him the respect.
At the same time, though, I do wonder how much of this is just out of like a survival instinct rather than genuinely caring about it. Because he's in the same company as Ben Shapiro, who's lost 90% of his views. And it's like, is he just... I need to change topic. I need to find something else. And it's like, if Manosphere or whatever content was high now, we'd be there talking about that instead. I think it is just someone trying to find the next thing that'll keep him going in the cycle, rather than any kind of genuine interest.
This is classic. This happens every time that your team is in power, your side, the energy gets a little bit lower. But
something gets lower, gets turned fucking against each other.
Yeah, people go like, there's no enemy to fight, so then we start fighting
amongst ourselves instead.
You have a bunch of people that have a couple things in common that kind of conglomerate and unite for one big thing, like the bigger evil, so to speak, in what some people view as. And then the problem is that alliance you form, there's actually not that much in common with a lot of those people, and some things vehemently opposed morality-wise and things like that you overlook in the moment to win a battle. And then there's this big fucking fracture.
You might let in a psychopath here and there every once in a while.
Yeah, once in a while.
18 or 35.
And then Jack Posobiec will call for a Star Wars
I've been
boycott.
talking about this for 10 years.
and he called Epic Mike a child. He's all sit back, child.
All right.
Who coined the hashtag dump stars back in 2016? Shut up, Jack. Nobody fucking cares.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
I thought that was interesting. Robert Downey Jr. has some comments about I hate the word influencers so much.
Me too. It's disgusting.
Robert Downey Jr. says declaring influencers the stars of the future is absolute horseshit. Okay.
I wasn't sure if you were memeing.
Arnold Horseshack.
Believe it, Sonny.
Is this the part of the show where we're sponsored by Don't Do Drugs, kids? Because that's
the whole show.
Yeah, that's the whole fucking show.
In Gary's defense, it's a weird way to abbreviate horseshit.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I would have just put an I in the I. Or, sorry, I would have put an asterisk in the I and left the T.
SEO still knows that it's shit, though, so they might be trying
there you go.
around it.
Type thing. When I hear people talk about, the stars of the future are going to be influencers, I go, I don't know what world you're living into, but I think that is absolute horseshit.
Yeah, I wanted you to talk about influencers because I don't get it to a certain level. Now, I understand an influencer when they have something to say and they're interesting and they have a point of view and all of that, but many don't. And they're, again, it's back to the old famous because they're famous. But it interests me that many of them have 1 million followers, et cetera. Well, that's a lot of people. Now, what does it mean to be a follower? And it's not like you're paying $100 a month to be a follower. And so it's not hard to be a follower. And so I think the interesting question is...
conversation to listen to.
It is. My God. It's like
this is so fucking bad. Like, I have 1 million followers.
I don't understand influencers. I'm 95 years old. I look like I should be rocking my chair on a fucking...
Who is this
somewhere?
I
have no idea.
Is that Herschel from? That's what it looks like.
I am curious though. I want to hear more, but it's just like it was painful to listen to that lead up.
What do you know that we didn't have influencers per se? We had Ronald Reagan, who was in politics and on TV and doing whatever General Electric or Westinghouse commercials, and was an actor of some note. But then you have like the first I was listening to someone who had started a podcast when it was still on MySpace, like back in the turn. And there's something about this 2006, 7, 8, 9. There's something about that era that because we were just in it. And you know how it always feels like 2009 was 10 years ago?
You mean Obama.
Or 5 years, or whatever it was. It's like, no. It's actually, we're getting a little longer in the tooth. That was a while ago.
Visibly.
This whole phenomenon, that the advent of that, sometimes it's who is luck, maybe first in the door to do it. Joe Rogan was doing it before it was cool, and he's kind of got his whole own space now. But again, like my now 13-year-old son Exton, he kind of got caught up in this whole influencer thing, and next thing you know, it's like, hey, if you like the way I'm playing this video game, do you want to send me a donation? And really, it becomes a religion.
Yep.
What? So there's something about the influencers today are almost like the evangelical hucksters of the information age. At the same token, it's different because we're playing in this new territory. And so it's a little bit of a frontier, and I don't really have a judgment on it. I also know when I'm promoting a film now.
It's a weird fucking take.
Well, what does he think the difference is between him and an influencer?
Yes.
Because to a streamer, you're getting the money directly from lots of people that are all watching you at the same time. Yeah. But to him, he's still getting exactly the same thing. It's just going through Disney or whatever, whoever's paying him. But it's still coming from lots of people which are giving a little bit of money at the cinema. And so there's more third parties.
He's getting paid $100 million to act.
And people are obsessed with Marvel in the same way. You know, you're going to call it religious, like they're addicted to it. What's Iron Man to people?
The problem is the messenger. The problem is that Robert Downey Jr. is about to make $100 million to play a fucking superhero, and I really don't have anything against Robert Downey Jr. I like him in a lot of stuff. I think he's a great actor, but it's a fundamental misunderstanding of what all of this is. But he does have valid points within this. He's not wrong in some of his points, but the messenger is the wrong person.
I think in his mind, he's getting paid $100 million to make something. He's making a movie. He's an actor. He's doing a job. And he believes that is fundamentally, in some way he can't quite put his finger on, different from someone who sits in front of a webcam 19 hours out of every 24 and who gets paid for just being themselves. I'm not sure there's as much difference in the distinction as he seems to think there is, because all influencers really are is just like 24/7 actors. They're always on screen. Most of them are playing a part, just as he's doing, and they're doing it directly to your screen as opposed to going through a movie studio or turning it into a story. I think influencers are cheaper in that respect because they aren't actually making something. They aren't telling a story or playing like a character in a work of art, but it's not all that different. There's a reason he's on a podcast giving his opinion here, like it somehow matters. Why does it matter? Well, because he's got a famous name. So it's not hugely different.
The best case study here is Maya Hawke with Stranger Things, who said very publicly she wanted to delete her Instagram account. She doesn't want to be on Instagram anymore. Yeah. And they told her, you're not allowed to do that. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get any more jobs, because the influence that you have is going to help you get more jobs. So that in and of itself discredits everything that RDJ is saying here.
Well, and who are
told to be influencers?
Who are the Hollywood agents going after now? The Hollywood agencies.
Influencers.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of fallacies with what he's saying, obviously, but I think it's stemming from this idea that he believes that what he's doing is acting and everybody understands that he's acting and that's what he's getting paid for and he's entertaining people and stuff like this. Whereas the way I'm kind of taking some of what he's saying is that he thinks that the influencers out there, that people are perceiving them as real when he thinks they're all fake. Do you know what I mean? I think there is a lot of reality to that. As we've been talking about, there is a lot of reality to that fact that there are people that think all independent media and all influencers might be genuine, and that couldn't be further from the truth.
It's more like Little Platoon nailed it, because I think we skipped over the actual start of the quote, which was including the horseshit thing, because he says, nowadays people can create celebrity without doing much besides rolling a phone. I don't think that's negative, but it is sort of hopefully the large part of the youth is going to go, yeah, but that's not my thing. I want to do something. I want to make something. I want to build something. So you're not just recording yourself like we're doing now, but actually doing creative parts, going out into the world and doing something no one else has ever done before. I think he just wants more creativity rather than sitting on a stream reacting to other people's videos. It's essentially where I think
which I agree with. But it's hard to parse exactly what he means, because he's like, influencers are horseshit, but also Joe Rogan has got his own thing going and it's really popular, but then there's a religion around it. And like,
if he would just denounce false flagging, this wouldn't be a problem.
Exactly.
Okay, that's all he got to fucking do.
He's gonna be like, you're just attacking me because I'm a vegan, okay?
Yeah.
Coincidence.
Well, I hear vegan.
He also craps on Joe Rogan because he's like, well, he just got there because he was first. And it's like, no, that may give you an initial advantage. But as all your competitors you also have to be better than them to keep the people that you got because you were first. So he is really looking down on his competition.
He's an evolution on something that precedes him, just as Robert Downey Jr. is an evolution on the actors who inspired him. You know, before Joe Rogan, you had people like Rush Limbaugh. Like, you had a huge number of people who did talk radio, which is really the origin of the modern podcast space. And actors used to be the influencers. He mentions Reagan, but Charlton Heston was basically a Reagan spokesperson. Marilyn Monroe was a fashion influencer, at least as much as she was an actor. He probably just thinks there's some special premium attached to creating movies because that's making something. But I think that might be because he doesn't understand exactly how much of online drama is purely manufactured. A load of this stuff is basically scripted, or at least it has the appearance of being scripted. People are creating their own plays. It's just with influencers who seem to be more like real people. It's more like a constant soap opera than it is making a movie.
There's an element of this being cope because movie stars and movie people have always thought themselves better than other forms of entertainment. They've seen themselves as above TV, above video games, above theater. And now, as they're hitting a wall and having competition and people moving away from them, I don't think they know how to cope with that because they still see themselves as superior and they can't understand why other people... Because whenever you use your time for anything, you are competing with literally everything else in the entire world. If they're watching you on YouTube, they could be playing golf, going for a walk, doing anything else in the entire world. And they still think they deserve it because they're the premium art form compared to everyone else.
Well, what I was going to say is like, this is a case of radio saying that TV is rotting your brain and you shouldn't watch it.
Right.
You know, it's that same thing. The next thing is always the worst thing that's happening.
Yeah, I think the other question is what's driving people to YouTube and away from terrestrial TV and movies at this point?
Well, I mean, it's the talk radio aspect, the live aspect, the interactive, whether it's better or not. Again, it's consider the messenger here. $100 million for 2 movies where he's only on screen about 60% of the time, reading his lines off screen, has a giant trailer, like city dedicated to him, has his own chef there. So, I mean, that's an interesting perspective from him. But like it or not, that's the problem. See, the movie star died. The movie star died because we got to know them because of social media.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to what Disbrew was saying, I was going to touch on a similar thing where he does really seem to be making a distinction between an actor and any other type of fame. But if you really want to break down what celebrity is and popularity, I mean, he is not representative of most actors. And in actual fact, there are a lot of influencers that are vastly more popular and famous than a lot of mainstream actors. And so I think just on a base level there, and make more money. On a base level there, a lot of really popular influencers are the new celebrities. Just look at the popularity, look at the attention. And so drawing a distinction between profession of how you achieve the celebrity seems like a distinction without much of a difference.
And we're not saying it's a good or a bad thing. It's just what is.
Yeah.
It's what is. But interesting. Thought that was interesting.
nerderotic.com. Please subscribe.